Live with another Locked On Buckeyes postcast after the Ohio State Buckeyes just got done with a late surge in this game, beating the Penn State Nittany Lions 44-31. We are here to react, discuss, really be awed by what JT Tuimoloau did on the field. We're going to break it down live right here on Locked On Buckeyes.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another live postcast after another Ohio State football game. And this game was tough, a big one, the toughest battle of the year. Your Buckeyes were victorious 45-31 over the Penn State Nittany Lions. I am your host, Jay Stevens, and I want to thank you for tuning in live with us once again. If you're catching us after the show is live, thank you as well. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that bell so you're notified every time a new video goes live. And also hit that like button as well to help this video and help the channel grow. We're here to break down, quickly react to what we witnessed today as the Ohio State Buckeyes beat the Penn State Nittany Lions 44-31. We knew going into this game it was going to be tough. We knew that Penn State was talented on both sides of the ball. They had a phenomenal backfield, and we knew that Sean Clifford, as many people describe his play and they really down his play, we know Sean Clifford is a good quarterback. He can play well, and good Sean Clifford is better than a lot of other quarterbacks in the Big Ten Football Conference. We also know that Ohio State has not really been tested throughout the season. Yes, a test against Iowa a week ago, not on both sides of the ball, but just Iowa's defense. And so everyone knows Ohio State hasn't been tested like other schools have been. Everybody has a talking point out there. I know it, you know it, everybody knows it. And that's why this Penn State game was huge. And that's exactly why going into this Penn State game, everybody was watching to see what Ohio State was going to do. Would they respond when they were punched in the mouth? And they responded in a big way. I got to tell you, I get a lot of respect for CJ Stroud in this game, late in the game. There were moments early I was kind of wondering what's going on, but even the numbers may say a certain thing. Stroud, 26 for 33, 354 passing yards, only one touchdown, 79% completion percentage. I mean, I rip him, and I will gladly say Ohio State is good. CJ Stroud is good. But sometimes things were just a little bit wacky throughout this game. But I got to give the Buckeyes credit. They won the game. If you were to tell me in any game Ohio State would not outgain their opponent in total yards, would not outgain their opponent in passing yards, and would not outgain their opponent in rushing yards in the game, I would say, Ohio State would probably lose that game. They did not lose the game. They won by 2 scores. They won by 13 points over Penn State. And this was that game. This was a game. Ohio State had 452 total yards. Penn State had 482. Ohio State, 354 passing yards. Penn State had 371. Ohio State, 98 rushing yards. Penn State, 111. So this is that game. This is that game. JT Tuimoloau, I will discuss and talk about him in the very next segment. He is easily and clearly the player of the game. But Tuimoloau, Marvin Harrison Jr., those two guys together were unstoppable. Emeka Egbuka wasn't getting loose like he normally does. Mayan Williams gets hurt in this game. We all know when Williams goes down, Travion Henderson really hasn't shown that he can be a featured back. What does Henderson do? He scores late in the game. Penn State took the lead with 9:26 to go in this game. Literally 69 seconds later, Ohio State is up by 2 scores. Katron Allen, he had the 1-yard touchdown run to put Penn State up 21-16. Before you know it, 35 seconds later, Travion Henderson has a 41-yard touchdown run, which was propelled by a phenomenal block by Cade Stover. Cade Stover He scores later on. Shortly after that, he has a phenomenal touchdown catch of his own where he says, oh, let me slide by you real quick. Oh, excuse me. Gets in the end zone, breaks a tackle. Before getting into the end zone, this team needed this type of game. The defense, who had been solid throughout all the year, dominant throughout all the year, really was missing tackles. Remember, Parker Washington, the receiver, when a lot of people know he can get loose, he did get loose. 11 catches, 179 through the air, receiving yards, 1 touchdown along of 58 yards. His yak yardage, 65. I mean, he was getting loose. It was apparent Ohio State's pass defense was going to be a problem. Cam Brown wasn't there. Denzel Burke is playing better. J.K. Johnson got beat on a play. I mean, we all know Ohio State's pass defense and their corners. The corners are the weakest link, and this was a game where they got exposed. But I want to give credit before going any further. Once again, Ohio State wins the game. Will you know they need to win a game to stay at the top of their division? Will you need somebody to play out of their mind? You need somebody to be reliable to catch a ball. They have those things. Ohio State won the game. They're undefeated still. Do not lose sight of that. The Buckeyes are amazing. The Buckeyes have great players, and the Buckeyes are still in contention to not just win the Big Ten championship. They're also in contention to still go to the playoff, and I still think the Ohio State Buckeyes are one of the best teams in college football. You know, not only one of the best players, teams in college football, but one of the best players on the Ohio State defense, or the best player on the defense, was JT Tuimoloau. We'll discuss what he did next right here, this live postcast after the Buckeyes beat the Penn State Nittany Lions. This episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to spice up your college football season. Underdog puts an emphasis on easy to get started, because it's easy to get started and easy to play while you're watching your favorite team play. It's easy. You can create and select up to 2 and 5 players across any team, not just the Ohio State Buckeyes, but also across any team, and decide if they will finish higher or lower. It's one of the easiest fantasy games to play out there, and you can win cold hard cash in a single game. Underdog Fantasy is easy to play, and it's available in 30 states. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. You want to win cold hard cash? You can do that there. Sign up. When you do, use the promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, and it's all one word. And Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Deposit $100 and get $100 free. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or find the Underdog Fantasy app in the App Store or Google Play Store. That's Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Locked On. Get in on the college football pick'em action today. JT Tuimoloau. I have to slow down when I say his name because honestly, it's a tongue twister. It kind of baffles me at times, but he was easily, and I mean easily, the player of the game. You want to look at JT Tuimoloau and what he did in the stat sheet: 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions. He had a forced fumble, he had a fumble recovery, and he had a touchdown. Now, one of those sacks was a strip sack where he forced that fumble. That fumble recovery was the strip sack. Yes, he did cause a fumble recovery via a sack, and he recovered that thing. He was a problem. And when I discussed the players that would be impact players during the second half of the season, JT Tuimoloau was one of the 3 guys that I had on the Buckeye defense. Actually 2. I think I said Tuimoloau, and I want to say Ronnie Hickman. Tuimoloau is different, man. I mean, when you saw that pick 6, and those of you that are watching us live, you're seeing, you can't see my hands because they're about to go outside of the screen. He had a full extension on that pick 6. He ran that ball in, and as he walked off, he was on the sideline when he took his helmet off, because if not, it could have been a penalty if you take your helmet off on the field. He walked off like, I know I'm the man. I know what I just did. I know I am that dog. I know what I have done. You know who else was a dog in this game? And Tyler, I see your comment. I'll get to that here shortly. You know who else was a dog in this game? Marvin Harrison Jr. When other receivers were not able to get open in this game, when other Buckeye receivers, Emeka Egbuka, Julian Fleming, when there was a problem for guys to get open because Penn State's pass defense is good. That is their calling card on defense. They are good. They are really, really good. And their physicality was a problem at times. But you could rely on Marvin Harrison Jr. to get the job done. And CJ Stroud, by the numbers, knew when it counted, he could rely on Marvin Harrison Jr., who could be out here and ask to stunt like his daddy. He was doing that very, very well. Marvin Harrison Jr., 10 catches, 185 receiving yards. Did not score a touchdown, but he had big catches in crucial moments. 3rd and long, what do? Well, Joey Porter Jr. is about 8 to 10 yards off of the line of scrimmage from Marvin Harrison Jr. What do? Quick slant inside. Bam, easy. Let's go to Marvin Harrison Jr. Move the chains. The Buckeyes win. The Buckeyes win this game. Tuimoloau, Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's go ahead. I don't know who they're going to name offensive and defensive player of the game, but let me just tell you once again, offensive player of the game gets my vote, Marvin Harrison Jr. Tuimoloau, defensive player of the game. Got to give credit to Noah Ruggles once again, because early in the game, he had to come in when the Buckeyes struggled to move the ball. When Mayan Williams went down, the rushing game was different. I got to give them credit. They did a phenomenal job of doing that. Now, I'm only have time to get to one comment. One question. I see that. I'm going to stay sharp. I might touch on that later in the week. But Tyler, you are first. Let's go first to last. Tyler says, Jay, what's your overall grade for this game? And I want to be the guy who's like, some guys will say, oh, this is going to be an A game. Ohio State, yeah, they gutted out late in the game, and because of their late surge and from the 9:26 mark to 8:17 mark in the fourth quarter, the Buckeyes went up 2 scores. I want to give them an A, say, hey, you're A or A minus because they had a late surge. I'm not doing that. Y'all know how I am. I am a tough grader. You know how myself and Jeff Hunt from the Off the Ball Network, how we graded positions at the halfway point in the season. We are tough. I'm not going to give them an A. I want to say B minus or B. I can't go B plus because a lack of running game derails you quite a bit. Outside of Mayan Williams, the running game was really not there. Trevion Henderson had a couple runs late, which kind of made the numbers go up like they had, but the running game was not there. I want to go. Your B game beats you, gets you a 2-score win over the Penn State Nittany Lions, the number 13 team in the country. That means a lot. Now, I thought Ohio State would score 45 points in this game. They scored 44. I thought Penn State would only score 17. They scored 31. So somewhere in my evaluation, things were off. I do think if Mayan Williams plays in this game, the game's different. Just being honest with you. I'll go with the B. And I might be too nice, but I'll go with I want to go B. But even situational play calling in the first half, there were some other things, Tyler, that really confused me. But I'm going to go B. Say, Jay, you might be too nice. Maybe I am, but I can't go A. I'm not going C. I'm teetering on a B or B minus, going with a B game right now in this one. Probably should go more B minus, but I'm in a good mood because the Buckeyes win, so they get the nod right there. Guys, out of here, live postcast. Thanks everyone for chiming in and tuning in. We're going to do these after every Ohio State game. Yes, every game. No matter if I'm here at home or somewhere else, going to do these after every Ohio State game. Out of here on this Saturday afternoon. Buckeyes win 44-31. You can follow me on Twitter if you're not already, at jstevens07. Send all of your emails to jstevens317@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in. We're out of here. Buckeyes win. Let's go ahead and ride high and enjoy the rest of our day.